y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. Let's get into, and just like that, season 1, episode 5, Tragically Hip. Alright, if you are brand new to my channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video if you enjoyed today's content, and hop into the comment section. Let's talk about this latest episode, y'all. So, the episode starts off with Carrie and Seema back at her apartment, and she grabs an umbrella to get up the stairs, and she's using it as like a cane as a crutch. And Seema kind of tells her like, "What the hell are you doing?" And Carrie is like, because of her old age, she said that she's been having to use a hip. She's been having to use like a cane to kind of help her up the stairs. She's having some back pain. She's likening it to some type of arthritis pain and just age. Carrie's getting up there. So Seema is like, girl, no, no. I can call the orthopedic doctor for you, and I can help you out. I can get you into one of the best that I know, a friend of hers. So Seema then sees like a huge water stain on her ceiling, and it's like, I can help you out with that too. And Carrie's like, it's fine. Carrie said that she has some little patches, those patches that like heat up, kind of like the what are they, the icy hot patches that you stick on you. It heats up, soothes the pain. Carrie is like, I'm good. So Seema makes a call, gets her in, and tells her, we're on our way to see the doctor within an hour. Once they get there, Carrie finds out that she has a birth defect in her hip. So it's not from her being old or anything like that. It's just been undetected. So a quick surgery and Carrie will be back up and running, no problems. So she's happy that she doesn't have arthritis. That is not, it's not old age basically. So she meets up with Miranda and Charlotte, and now Anthony, who has now joined the group because Stanford is in Japan. So they talk about how Carrie's not old anymore, and she's excited about that. She needs to have the surgery. She tells them she's all for it, she's good. Anthony's making jokes about her being old, yada yada yada. We're having a good time. Good, nice, easy conversation. And then here Miranda's drunk ass comes talking about let's order a bottle of wine, a bottle of champagne to celebrate. Absolutely not. We are not celebrating the fact that you need surgery. I'm sorry, but we're not. So Charlotte is like, no, we're not ordering no bottle of champagne to celebrate. But Charlotte tells her that she has set up an Excel spreadsheet because they're all going to take turns helping her out. Carrie is alone now, so she's going to need someone to help her out. When I've been on crutches before, and it's not the easiest to get in and out of bed, and I can only imagine having like hip surgery, how hard that's going to be for her to kind of get around and do things. So Charlotte is then on Zoom, or actually it looks like the little Facebook meetup thing, talking to the other mothers from the parent PTA group. So they're getting some things in motion, and then they're like, is there anything else that we need to go through? And they're like, oh, one of them is like, yeah, Rock was so funny in the school play. And everyone else is like, yes, Rock, go ahead, girl. Like, getting excited. And Charlotte is like, who the hell is Rock? Did I miss the new kid? Who is Rock? And everybody is like, and they all just kind of freeze. So Charlotte is like, are you all frozen? What happened? LTW tells her, that's it for today, Charlotte Hun. I'm gonna call you right now. So Lisa calls Charlotte and just kind of tells her Rock is Rose. You remember Rose told Charlotte, was like an episode or two ago, that she doesn't feel like a girl. She's a bit of a tomboy. She doesn't feel like she's a girl. She doesn't want to be a girl anymore. And Charlotte kind of took that and like let it blow over, to be real. She didn't like take too much stock into it. So they tell her that Rose asked everybody at school to start calling her Rock. And Lisa is like, girl, I thought you knew, which is why I never brought it up. So Charlotte is like embarrassed now. So she goes into where Harry, Rose, and what's that other child's name? Lily, where they're all just kind of sitting around playing video games, whatever. And Charlotte says, when were you going to tell me that you changed your name to Rock? Why are people calling you Rock at school? And we'll call her Rock. Rock said, well, I made a TikTok. Charlotte said, girl, you make 10 TikToks today. I miss it. So Rock made her a little TikTok. She's dressed in like a hat and like a flannel shirt, and she's on there rapping about how her name is now Rock. Lily joins in with the rap, and that really took me under. So I'm like, Lily, you knew, but your parents didn't. So Harry is confused and it's like, is this like a rapper name now? What's going on? And it's like little by little, Charlotte is starting to realize that, her daughter's either like her daughter wants to identify as a different person. She's not the like prissy, dainty, girly girl that Charlotte is and that Lily seems to be, and Charlotte just does not know how to handle that. So we see Miranda, she's at home and she is surrounded by like Amazon boxes and she's opening packages. Brady's girlfriend, who I still think is too comfortable in that house, comes down the stairs and it's like, you got a lot of packages. Miranda said yes. A lot of them are not even for me, and hands her a pack, like a 6 pack of tube socks and a bottle of lube. And the girl was like, oh yeah, sorry about that. I meant to intersect that, before you saw it. Miranda, get your house in order. What is going on? Like, not only is this girl using your Amazon account to order stuff, but the disrespect of it all. I cannot believe Miranda is like just cool with this and does not like seem to have a problem with this. But whatever. So Miranda's like opening the stuff and she sees a book that's called Quit Like a Woman. And it's a book about stopping drinking in a more radical, up to date type of method. Miranda is like, oh, I didn't order this. This is not for me, whatever, whatever. She's like flipping out. And the girl is like, okay. So we switch over to Carrie's at the doctor. They gave her a buzzer like she was at the Applebee's. I said, "Dang, is that how it is in New York? That's how impersonal y'all doctors visits are. Wow. Okay. So Carrie sits down. Miranda's there with her. So Carrie goes and sits down and is talking to Miranda and letting her know that she got on some flats, she got on some little Birkenstocks, some socks. Carrie is a heel girl, so she was not pleased with that. So Miranda tells her that Charlotte sent her a book about stopping drinking. And Miranda's pissed. She's like, Charlotte didn't even have the balls to tell me herself. So for her to go and Amazon me a book, like the shade of it all. So Miranda starts pointing out like all the different times that Charlotte has said something about her drinking. So Miranda is aware that Charlotte feels a way about her drinking, and like so it's in the back of her mind. It's in her mental. She knows what's going on. So Carrie asked, are you sure? And I was thinking, damn, Carrie, did you send it? Because Carrie was like asking in a way where it's like, I know for sure she didn't send it. So Miranda's like, yes, she sent it, but whatever, I'm gonna go. And Carrie's like making jokes, making light of the situation. Miranda says she's gonna go get a coffee. And Carrie's like, are you gonna drink it like a lady? Which to me meant that was like Carrie's way of being like, girl, you about to make a hot toddy out of it. You gonna pour your little Jack in there. But Miranda goes and says she's gonna bring Carrie back like a post-surgery treat. So what I thought was gonna happen is when Carrie reached over and grabbed the blanket, I thought she was gonna seize the little mini bottles of alcohol that Charlotte saw before, but she doesn't. We switch over to this hospital room. Carrie's out of surgery. She is laid up there, y'all, in a cardigan sweater and some pearls. I don't know why that made me laugh, but like I've had 2 surgeries in the past 2 years, and I just know when I woke up or when I was post surgery, I was not looking that glamorous. So mental note: pack some pearls next time if I ever have to have a surgery again. So while Carrie is asleep, Charlotte asks Miranda, you were a tomboy growing up, did you ever wish you weren't a girl? And Miranda jokingly was like, yeah, every time I have to get a mammogram. And it's just kind of like a lighthearted back and forth. And it's because Charlotte is kind of skirting around the issue instead of coming out and just asking what she wants to know. You know what I mean? So instead of her doing that, she's like skirting around the issue, making things kind of more awkward than they really need to be. So Carrie wakes up and says that she has to go use the bathroom. She doesn't want to wait for the nurse. She just kind of tells Charlotte and Miranda, help her up, and you can help her like the doctor helped her before. So Charlotte is like freakishly strong now. Charlotte is able to kind of like lift her up and tells her, you have to be able to lift your heaviest child. So she's been working out. So while she's helping Carrie to the restroom, Miranda sees that Shay is calling Carrie's phone. She's too obsessed with Shay for me. It's almost annoying. It's like this like schoolgirl crush that Miranda has on her. So she's waiting for she answered the phone and Shay is like, oh, I'm here, I got lunch, whatever, whatever. So Miranda invites her up, tells her the room number and everything, and I'm thinking, how you know she feels like company? Like, you gotta think about stuff like that. Like, just because she's up and in the hospital bed, let's not act like she wasn't just knocked out sleep. She woke up because she had to use the restroom. So the fact that you want, okay, Miranda, doing too much. Doing way, 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 way too much. So, Carrie's in the bathroom with Charlotte, and Miranda comes in and it's like, oh, Shay's here, and Carrie was like, no, I don't want company. I don't want company. I'm sitting here trying to use the bathroom. Tell her no, ma'am, Pam. Tell her do not come up here. Fix it. So what got me is like Carrie didn't realize that she was using the bathroom and she didn't know if she was done. Now I don't know if that was the medication talking, but what was the point of that? If y'all know what the point of that particular scene was, for Carrie to not realize that she was using the bathroom, how forgetful she was this episode, how she, like I'm a chalk it up to her just being on the medication. So Miranda and Shay are downstairs eating. I didn't even pay attention to the conversation because it it was unnecessary. This story arc of um Miranda and Shay is doing too much. I think it's given too much. When I see Shay, I still see Callie from Grays personally. But so Anthony helps to bring Carrie home in his Hot Fellas truck, and Carrie was like, I could have caught like something what she called an amulet, could have brought her home. So she Anthony has this like one of his Hot Fellas guys from his brand company carry her upstairs. So we see Carrie is upstairs doing her podcast from home, and she mentions how Samantha had to help her get her diaphragm out. If you all remember that episode, Carrie's diaphragm was stuck. Samantha volunteered to reach her hand up there and get it. And Carrie is telling the story, and it's like it was so stuck up there. She was up there for a while and like really laying it on because she's high. So Jackie and Shay are like, yep, whatever pain medication you're on, stay on it because this is what we want you to do on the show and on the podcast just in general. This is the energy, this is the type of content that we need from you. So Charlotte is looking at her like, you might want to tell Samantha, you said her first and last name, that's, you should let her know so she doesn't hear from someone else. Carrie, like, low-key doesn't really remember what she said, but it's just kind of like, okay, if I have to, then I guess I will. But you can tell that Carrie is just on some. I don't think this little podcast is on her radar, but I'll let her know. So Charlotte and Harry meet up with somebody at Rose's school, and they're just wondering why would they allow that girl to come in and change her pronouns and what she wanted to be called without the parents' consent. And everybody keeps telling, Harry and Charlotte, we thought y'all knew. Because that's typically something that the child would discuss and, talk about with their parent at home first and then make those necessary changes. And so they're just kind of like, this could be a phase. And the people at school were like, no, she was very clear in what she said. She's very steadfast that she wants to be called Rock. So that's what we're going to go for. I think it was like maybe like a psychiatrist or a psychologist that was there helping them through this. So Harry is low key pissed because he's like, that was humbling as a parent. I shouldn't have to hear about my child from someone else. And he thinks that Rose just might be doing this just for attention. He's like, she's a ham. This could be something that she's just doing just to be doing. So Miranda is sitting with Carrie at Carrie's house. Carrie is asleep. Miranda looks like she's doing some homework or something. Shay rings the buzzer. Now, Shay, Carrie clearly don't want to see you, sweetheart. She don't want to see you. Stop showing up. But Shay comes over and Miranda like runs to the bathroom and fluffs up her hair and fixes her makeup. And Shay comes up and says that she brought Carrie a professional microphone to try to help her out with the sound quality, and then she brought some tequila. Miranda's like, Carrie is asleep. So, she ain't gonna want the tequila, but I'll take some shots with you. And I'm like, I bet you will. Of course you want some shots, Miranda. Of course you do. So Miranda and Shay are knocking back shots. They are loud, y'all. They're laughing. It's like a whole fiesta at this point in the kitchen. So Shay lights up some weed, or a joint, pot, as they call it on the show. She lights up some pot. And Miranda was like, too bad you have to go because I would ask you for a shotgun. So while they're smoking, Carrie like wakes up because she has to use the bathroom, but also because that weed is like permeating her nose. So she starts to wake up. Shay is now kissing down Miranda's neck. I said, oh yeah? That's what we on, Miranda? Okay, girl. So she sees, like, she's starting to hear, like, the laughing, and then she eventually starts to hear, like, moaning and panting. And she's looking around like, the fuck is going on? And she looks in a mirror that is kind of, like, facing her kitchen, and she sees Miranda flushing in Shay, and there's rubbing and groping and sounds and all this stuff is going on. And Carrie is looking like, what, like, because what is going on here, sis? What's really good, Miranda? So Carrie has to use the bathroom. So she, like, is trying to get herself out the bed, but, like, she really can't. So she sees a bottle, reaches for the bottle, starts to pee in the bottle by herself. Next thing we know, Miranda's in there getting finger popped by Shay, and like now it's like full-blown sex, right? So now it's full-blown sex in the kitchen. Miranda's in there panting and getting closer and closer to her damn climax. Carrie is able to pee successfully in the bottle, but then her arm like slips off the bed or something, and she slips it back and all the pee falls out the bottom. That's it. I'd have been so mad. I would have been so unbelievably mad. So Shay leaves, and Carrie is like now back up in the bed, and Miranda goes into the bathroom and uses the bathroom, and Carrie is looking right at her ass and was like, you might want to close the door. And she's like, oh, Carrie, I didn't know you were awake. Oh my gosh. Closes the door, and then comes out and asks Carrie, how was your nap? I didn't know you were up. Carrie said, my nap was okay, until I was woken up by you and Shay having sex in the damn kitchen, which then caused her to pee on herself because she was all by herself. You weren't there to help her. So Miranda is like nervously like, oh my God, I didn't know you were awake. My goodness. And Carrie's like, girl, I took half a pill because the full one I took yesterday had me woo woo. But she's like, I should have took the whole damn pill so I could have slept through this. And it's kind of like, you can see the irritation in Carrie's voice. Carrie is pissed. And Carrie's just like, what are you doing? What is going on here? And Miranda's like, oh, I'm just going to change the sheets for you. And Carrie is like, The whole damn bed is full of piss now. Like, on top of the fact that it's not even like she peed on herself, it was just like the shit spilled. So Miranda's like trying to roughly take the sheets back, trying to hurry up and get everything cleaned up. And Carrie is like, nope, you're like, must have been pulling up on her hip. And she's like, stop. What are you doing? So Miranda said that maybe she just had a couple, maybe just had a couple too many shots, That's really it. And Carrie said, why are you taking shots in the middle of the day? Why does my whole apartment smell like weed? Why are you having sex in my kitchen? A lot happened in that, 30 minutes that Shay was there. So Miranda said that maybe she just had too many. Carrie said, girl, maybe you do have a drinking problem. Maybe you do, because WTF. What is going on here? This is ridiculous. So Miranda then wigs out, and it's like she's unhappy. She hates her marriage. She feels trapped in her life. She hates her life altogether. And Carrie is like, what since when? Miranda said that she's kind of always felt like that, which we know that Miranda just kind of married Steve because they were swept up in the moment with Brady. We haven't even seen like any real interaction between Miranda and Steve. Like, we see Harry all the time, but we don't even see Steve. So Carrie is like, why didn't you say anything? And Miranda's like, what am I supposed to say? And Carrie was like, literally all that you just said. Like, that's what you're supposed to say. So she's like, but what about the drinking? And because the drinking is, let's get to the root of it. And Miranda said she doesn't have a problem. If she thought she had a problem, she would just stop. She says that she's going to do some self-reflection, find out what's going on. Carrie said, girl, look into the drinking. Do some self-reflection on that. Because that is like, honestly, what's going on is not cool. It's not okay. But Miranda says that she does not want to stop messing with Shay. She has never felt that way in her life. And it's like Miranda is spiraling, y'all. Spiraling. So Carrie has come down from her high. She clearly needs to be alone for a little bit. And she texts Samantha and just kind of lets her know that she told the story of her pulling out the diaphragm on her podcast. Miranda said that was one of her finest moments. Carrie asked, she hopes that was okay. Samantha said, of course, she loves that her vagina is getting more airtime. So then Carrie texts her that she misses her, and we see the text bubbles as if Miranda is saying something, but they go away. My whole thing is, if Kim Cattrall does not want to be on the show, if Samantha is in a different country, stop bringing her up. Stop bringing her up. It's like they're leaving the door open for her to come back, but this show is not going to get a season 2. It's not going to happen because everything that happened with Chris Noth, and then just the backlash from everything that's happening, like every episode, there's more complaints than positives regarding the show. It's not coming back. So they can just stop interjecting Samantha into the show. So we then see Miranda's at home making a drink, and listening to a podcast, listening to, I think, one of Shay's stand-ups or podcasts, and she is cackling, y'all. Like, it is just overly funny. And she gets a text notification. When you buy stuff from Amazon will ask you, how are you enjoying your purchase? Because they want you to rate it. And she realizes that she bought the book herself. So she's wondering, like, what else did I drunk buy? So she takes everything out, and she, pours out the drink, pours out the liquor, and realizes, I do have a problem. There's something going on. I do have a problem. So hopefully we see her getting some help with that. And then the final scene is Charlotte and Carrie are at Carrie's physical therapy. They talk about Rose. Charlotte is wondering if they are underreacting to what Rose is going through, and how they are going to handle that. She said it's hard for her to call her daughter Rock. It's hard for her because she wants to say Rose when she talks to her. Carrie tells her that the kid is still amazing. Y'all will get through this. Womp womp. Carrie has this like young, cute physical therapist that comes out, tells her that it's better when you have a goal to look forward to. That's when people really get in a bag and like really really get in their bag and really kind of do what, like, it motivates them more. She said her goal is to get back to in the hills. So when she comes out, she tries to set up more appointments with him, with Travis. They was like, "Oh, your insurance still cover Travis. We gonna set you up with so and so." And she looked at that man and was like, "I will pay out of pocket for Travis. It's not a big deal." And then we see 3 months later, Carrie is indeed back in her heels. What a shit show of an episode. What a shit show of an episode. That was in Just Like That. Let me know how you guys felt about it, and I will catch you guys in the next one.